So, from a show of hands, who slept well last night? Ah, gotcha. I can't see your hands. Anyway, I want to talk about something that I feel is an important issue regarding human health in general, and that is simply sleep. This is something that is just as important as eating food, drinking water, breathing air. It is essential for proper brain function. This comes from sleepfoundation.org. According to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine's ICSD-3 manual, insomnia is defined as persistent difficulty with sleep initiation, duration, consolidation, or quality. Insomnia has many potential contributing factors and symptoms, but its diagnosis hinges on two essential components: sleep difficulties that occur despite adequate opportunities for normal sleep, and daytime impairment that directly results from poor sleep quality or duration. They also state in this article that estimates show 10 to 30% of adults suffer with chronic insomnia, and in some studies the numbers are around 50 to 60%. So we are going to take a closer look at what is happening and maybe get into some of the biohacking tips and tricks that we can apply to ensure we get the most out of our sleep. Sleep is your body healing, and if your body isn't healing, it's dying. When you sleep, there are a few things that are happening. Many of these body functions operate efficiently only under the right conditions. In other words, you need to be able to get to sleep and then sleep deeply. Some of these functions are synced with the motion of the planet and its day and night cycle. This is why the best time to sleep is just a couple of hours past sundown. This gets you into bed around 9 or so. Then your body can enter the healing phase and release those healing hormones somewhere in between 10 and 2 a.m. By the way, this is just the general rule. There are way too many outside factors that contribute to how well we sleep and how much sleep we get. But here's what you ultimately want to happen. You want to be able to lay down and go to sleep without being tired. And when you wake up, you want to feel revived and awake. That's stamina. Someone with low stamina still has trouble getting to sleep even when they are tired. And when they do get to sleep, they wake up feeling lethargic and sluggish. Do you know why? Because sleeping takes energy. But your stamina is only one contributing factor. That can be remedied with exercise, preferably exercise that occurs first thing in the morning before you do anything. 8 to 9.25 hours of sleep seems to be the standard for most people. Some people need more, some people need less. The brain needs sleep to replenish neurotransmitters. However, how well it does that also depends on a person's diet. It's like working out a muscle and lacking the protein to repair it overnight. So we need sleep to repair muscle tissue. It is needed to store memories, to have those memories sort of registered for recall. This is why when you lack sleep, you forget things more often. Human growth hormones are released, and those levels also vary from person to person, but typically you release less of these hormones as you get older, somewhere around the age of 28 and up. Sleep is also needed to power up your immune system. Every person has a circadian pacemaker in their brain that regulates the activity in the body at certain times of a 24-hour cycle. For example, your body produces certain digestive enzymes and proteins during the day, which makes a daylight diet healthier. The nucleus of the cells in the hypothalamus, which are light sensitive, coordinate the timing of your internal clock system. Many people today have no idea how important sleep is to just your daily mental health. Sufficient sleep, especially REM sleep, facilitates the brain's processing of emotional information. During sleep, the brain works to evaluate and remember thoughts and memories. And it appears that a lack of sleep is especially harmful to the consolidation of positive emotional content. This can influence mood and emotional reactivity and is tied to mental health disorders and their severity, including the risk of suicidal ideas or behaviors. So, I am pretty certain that we all understand that if we don't get enough sleep, life just isn't the same. It affects our mood, appetite, productivity, energy levels. That lack or sufficient amount of sleep truly does affect and touch many areas of our daily lives. Sleep disorders run rampant today. You have chronic insomnia, where people have sleep difficulties at least 3 times a week within 3 months. Short-term insomnia is less than that. There is sleep onset insomnia, when you have trouble falling asleep, and sleep maintenance insomnia, when you have trouble staying asleep long enough. There is OSA, obstructive sleep apnea, when the air passage is obstructed, and CSA, central sleep apnea, when the brain has a problem regulating breathing during sleep, which then affects your blood oxygen supply to the brain, and people can have both. Narcolepsy is a big complex, which is excessive sleepiness, sleep paralysis, hallucinations, and cataplexy, which is the loss of the control of your muscles for the purpose of REM sleep. Hallucinations, vivid dreams, and nightmares, as well as sleep paralysis, is big for people with narcolepsy. There's restless legs syndrome, which is really irritation of the legs causing the person to want to move their legs around. There is sleepwalking, shift work disorder. There is circadian rhythm sleep disorder, parasomnias, which include sleepwalking, night terrors, sexsomnia, which is unusual sex behavior or noises during sleep, confusional arousal, when a person exhibits mental confusion in bed, all behavioral sleep disorders. I'm telling you, disruption in your ability to sleep well can take a heavy toll, will take a heavy toll on your body and mind, and then spirit. So how do we fix this? Because I know that there are many of you who would just love to get a full night's rest, right? Keep in mind, a good night's sleep starts with what you are doing during the day. Think about this. Do you have a set bedtime for yourself? Or do you just go to bed at night when you are tired? And because of this, do you wake up the same time every morning? Or do you have a fixed time to wake up? Do you have a nightly routine before bed, or does what you do before bed depend on how you feel? Are you taking naps during the day, maybe after a meal? Do you wake up with that sleep inertia? You know, that groggy, lethargic feeling you get after waking up from a nap, especially if it's a long nap. You just can't seem to wake up like you did in the morning. Do you take an hour break from light before closing your eyes, or do you shine that bright mobile device light in your face first? Speaking of which, do you leave electronic devices on and running around you at night? Are you physically active? Do you get enough sunlight? Do you smoke, use alcohol, medication, drugs in general, Caffeine? Let me ask you something. Do you drink coffee to wake up, or do you drink coffee to relax you upon waking up? There is a difference, and the difference is you'll know when you have a morning where you can't have coffee. Do you eat late at night or right before bed? There is such a thing as the daylight diet. Basically, the idea is you start eating when the sun comes up, and once the sun goes down, that's it. You have to wait till the sun rises again. Easier said than done, right? This is why it does involve changing your lifestyle to a degree, sometimes a major change. How many of you do activities in your bed besides sleep? The bed is for two things, resting and sex. If you're not doing one of those two things, you may be getting your body used to staying up in bed. You want to get your brain used to the idea that when you get into bed, it's time to sleep. Melatonin is a major sleep factor. It can be taken as a supplement. Deer antler velvet also has the same effect on you when you sleep, as well as stimulating HGH. It's not HGH, it stimulates your own HGH production. I use both of these, not every night, and I do like to alternate, or I may use my Nessa's oil. You know, these are all things to consider when you are having trouble sleeping, and you want to set yourself up to get a good night's sleep. You don't want to hope you get a good night's sleep, right? You just want it. What type of mattress do you use? Memory foam? Do you sleep on the floor? Some people have different comfort levels, and that can depend on many things, especially the size of the person. Speaking of which, they make magnetic sleeping pads, grounding sleeping pads. Grounded.com is a place where you can get those for your mattress. Magnetico Sleep is a place where you can get the magnetic sleeping pads. There is another site that will be up on woodwardentertainment.com, and that is the Gravity Weighted Blanket. Now, I have one of these blankets from Gravity. I'll put the link in the description box below. And I went ahead and got the big boy, the 35-pounder. The first thing you notice about it is that it's heavy. Now, this is not for everyone. You should actually consult a doctor before using one of, especially if you have respiratory issues. For me, it doesn't restrict breathing or decrease circulation, but it does pin you down. And I mean your whole body. It's like a full body hug. Very snug. Some people like to sleep tucked in. This blanket definitely does that. I get hot easy, but in the winter it's perfect. Melatonin and serotonin levels go up because of the touch pressure stimulation. There's effects on mood, OCD, ADHD. There's a whole science on weighted blankets. I use Gravity. Again, I'll have the link to that in the description box below. So with that said, you need the right bedding. You really want a sleep schedule to where sleep is a priority and something that must be done. Having trouble sleeping and losing sleep due to some project or engagement, those are different circumstances. You want to have a fixed wake-up time, a nightly routine. Optimize your bedroom for sleep. Get blackout curtains, an eye mask, aromatics, no electronics. Some people have trouble sleeping in dead silence. Then you can use an audio device, natural sounds preferably, binaural beats and audios of that nature. Those could possibly aid in sleeping, but used during the day, they were intended to be used when you're conscious. So those effects of using those beats during the day, maybe for meditation, rolls over into sleep. I'm going to recommend visiting sleepfoundation.org. There is quite a bit of information there on what I have just discussed. If you are having trouble sleeping or just want better, deeper sleep, you're going to have to biohack your sleep, especially in this day and age. You need a plan, and you need to set yourself up to ensure you get some good sleep, because your body can't really heal unless you sleep. folks, there is a lot more to come. This is not going to be the last time we discuss this topic, but I think it's a pretty good overview of some of the things we all need to know. Until next time, go check out those links. Stay awake, stay aware, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon.